Today I want to talk about more on the impact side of AI, the human side of AI, which I think is also very important, and I'll be diving a little bit deeper into female and neurodivergent voices and why they're absolutely essential for building AI. And I saw already a few guys have been raising their hands, so we have a lot of active engineers that are engineering AI, which is great. Just maybe quickly about myself. So I'm Lisa Garrelts. I'm the founder of Neurominds. Neurominds is the world's first holistic ecosystem for neurodivergence to get immediate access to support. I'll dive a little bit in later in case you have neurodivergence in your environment or are neurodivergent yourself. I have no formal university degree, but I have made a career of 17 years in people and culture in complex and international environments. And I was assessed with ADHD, autism, hypersensitivity, and dyspraxia around 6 years ago. And I saw this as an opportunity to create something that is serving the community, to actually mitigate the struggles that I had in my childhood and also from a workplace perspective. You see a few emojis here. This is basically me, my character. I'm a nerd by nature. I'm into boating. I love deep conversations, science, geopolitics. I am absolutely fascinated about the brain of humans. I do improv theater, and I am as well into sports and into nutrition. That's a little bit about me. The problem that we have is that AI is built by a very homogeneous group. I think this should not be a surprise. 90% of AI engineers are male, also not a surprise, and less than 20% of women are actually showing up on the research papers where they have been co-authored as females, which is a little bit of a problem because the result is that we have biased algorithms, we have missed opportunities, and definitely we have a lot of products that are not serving everyone. So I will also quickly dive in later that it's really important as a company to know your audience. Why diversity in AI matters? First of all, diverse teams are taking by 87% better decisions because they are bringing in very different viewpoints, which is very important in business moving forward. And AI reflects its creators. This is also for the majority of you here not a surprise. So basically, if the teams are lacking diversity, the AI will reflect it as well. And I have one example for you. 34% of women of color are claiming that the facial recognition doesn't work for them. And that's not cool. And this is something we have to change. Neurodivergence as a cognitive asset for AI. I want to mention that neurodivergents are excelling in pattern recognition. They solve problems in a very, very creative way. They can hyper-focus on extreme complexity, and they have critical thinking by nature. The 30% you see here is that neurodivergent teams are solving problems 30% faster, but also neurodivergent teams are actually 30% more productive. So when we look at neurodivergent in brackets women, I also want to highlight that most neurodivergents are the most effective users of AI. There are new studies and data that has been released, highly ethical. They have also very high integrity, which is important. Also when we take regulations and laws and legislations into consideration, they create better return of investments for companies. That's also meanwhile proven. And neurodivergence, they're taking all diversity factors into consideration, which means that they're not thinking for their own group, but they are thinking of absolutely everyone due to the critical thinking and the complex thinking and actually creating products that benefit everyone. And why female leadership is so extremely important in AI is women are representing 50% of the global population. I think everyone knows that. But again, as I mentioned earlier, 90% of men are actually developing AI, where we have a slight mismatch. And also like the products that we are creating should reflect the experience and also the needs of women as well. Then we should also encourage women to be more in AI. And as a people and culture specialist, I know that it is very, very complicated and complex to find females that are actually willing to learn tech and to learn AI, but at the same time we have to make more efforts here as a collective. because it will also double the talent pool long term. And I think we are at a time where we can also not turn a blind eye on AI anymore. It won't vanish. And female-led AI can definitely better address things like social equity, like healthcare, and education, which is so incredibly important, because we also see that at the moment our systems are starting to crackle. So they don't really work anymore. And I think that female AI can also make a great difference here. And inclusive AI industries are actually unlocking new markets. So not only talking about females or neurodivergence, but diversity in general is unlocking new markets and creating entire new economic opportunities. Since 2 years, I'm talking about the AI backfire because I see patterns, I see the history, I see how tech is developing, I see how we develop as a society from a social anthropology perspective. So I think, and I have also seen, that AI is moving very fast and partially very reckless. We can see it all over the news, the headlines, what is happening, that some sort of AI is blackmailing their teams, etc. And this is something where we need to be very cautious of. From a societal point of view, what I want to highlight here is that 62% of employees are scared. They are in fear that their jobs are being taken by AI. So now we live in a capitalistic system, right? If we think of the scenario that white-collar people will lose their jobs, it means that there will be no money to actually consume. And as we're living in capitalism, we have to consume, right? So the system wouldn't work anymore. And I think that fear is something I really, really want to highlight. We have to kind of like take that away from people, because AI should support you, not replace you. And companies invested already billions in AI. I'll share some numbers later, but without clear use cases. You have a lot of companies and CEOs and executives. They're seemingly walking around like headless chickens and just wanting to implement AI, but without any use cases, without any actual problem to solve, and without any impact they want to create by implementing AI. They're chasing trends. And the result is that we have a lot of fear, as I mentioned already, and a lot of wasted resources also from a planetary perspective. Because we also know nowadays that if we're using AI, it costs a lot of electricity and a lot of water. So we have to be very mindful on how we're using AI and asking ourselves in what way and to what extent. The economic reality is not that the AI bubble is bursting, but as you can see, $200 billion have been invested between 2023 and 2026 into AI. Companies thought that there will be a huge return on investment. However, many companies are scaling back due to the lack of monetization. So the expectation and the reality is different, and now they're scaling back. Which is a little bit sad, because 200 billion could have been invested in better healthcare systems, in better school systems, support. I think the opportunity that we do have now is it's time to build it with responsibility, which requires all of us. Because AI without a plan is absolute chaos. As I mentioned earlier, companies rushing it, wanting to implement AI, but not having any clear use cases. And I'm talking about this since 2 years, but now Gartner was finally releasing some data in 2026 that almost 80% of companies are actually admitting that they don't have a clear use case and they don't have an AI strategy. So what are they going to do? What are they doing? This is what I have been asking myself since 2 years. And we have a lot of mass layoffs right now. We see it happening everywhere. And at the same time, yeah, it's a trend that has not delivered the return on investment. So the lesson is that AI should solve problems and not just chase the trends. So the solution is the inclusive AI development. It is very important to hire as diverse as possible. If you have teams that are developing AI and you see that there is 10 dudes, great, but where are the women? Where are the people of color? Where's LGBTQ+? Where are all these people? And I know that we had this Trump effect that has been implemented all over the place. The diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging has been cut largely in companies, which I think is absolutely not going to happen in the long run, because know your audience, know your clients, know the customers, know the people who are consuming your products. And co-create with the users. Ensure that it serves all of society. Because what I did with Neurominds, for example, is I have been asking the community. I've been asking them, what is it that you need? What is it that we can make obsolete? What is it that you would like to see on that platform? So we are actually getting feedback from the people that actually benefit from the product. And last but not least, I think this is the most important one, slow down and think critically. Because what we have at the moment is we are so bombarded with data and information. It's a lot. It's really a lot to take in. And I absolutely understand that so many people are overwhelmed, including myself, with all the data that's being bombarded at us. But no great decision has ever been taken in a rush, and no great product has ever been created just in a snap. You really need to think about it, and allowing yourself to slow down and think critically before you are actually taking a decision and implement something is a great game changer. 2 case studies I wanted to share which have been done right. So we have IBM, and they have been actually increasing females in AI, which is amazing. So basically they have been reducing the bias by implementing some mitigation architecture basically. So females have better hiring processes and also promotion processes. Well done, IBM. EY has been actually using neurodivergent teams using Copilot, which is one AI tool, to generate between 60 and 80 tangible ideas put into action, where they have been improving processes, where they have also been fostering greater innovation and increasing efficiency. And this is what we have to see more. The call to action and what everyone can do. Doesn't matter if you are a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, company owner, executive, CEO, or employee. Advocate for diverse hiring in AI, and especially for engineering teams. Make sure that you are challenging the composition of the teams, because it is important that we have the diversity going. The second is demand ethical and transparent AI development. Now, how do we do this? We can actually ask questions within the companies we're working in. We can ask ourselves the question. I think that's really important, to demand ethical and transparent AI development. So we know exactly what's the purpose behind, what is it that we're going to achieve as a company by implementing it. Thirdly, support diverse professionals in tech. So if there are already diverse professionals in tech, make sure that you are supporting them, that you are helping them in a way, because they might also attract other diverse team members, which will be great, a great ripple effect. And last but not least, I mentioned it already slightly, question the AI implementations that don't have a purpose. And I have seen, not joking, I have seen CEOs in Switzerland threatening in town halls their entire teams, that they are going to lose their jobs because of AI, which is fear-based culture, which I'm absolutely not a fan of. But at the same time, everyone is just afraid to ask the questions. And I think that in our society, we need to have a little bit more courage and not be afraid to ask uncomfortable questions, especially when we are talking about a purpose that's not clear to us. Quickly about Neurominds. If you have someone, a loved one, or if you are neurodivergent yourself, we have 3 pillars, which is connect, learn, and grow. So we have a community that is entirely for free. We have curated hubs, as you can see here. So nothing randomized here. Basically, peers can support each other, which is really important. We're supporting agency, advocacy, and also participate actively in research and development. That is still pretty scarce in neurodivergence. The second thing is we have at the moment some blog posts from the actual research, not from the 80s or 90s, because there are still so many misconceptions and neurodivergents are feeling so misunderstood. We have created a very comprehensive agent, talking about AI, that is actually bridging the different disciplines like epigenetics, neuroscience, psychology, social anthropology, because at the moment the research is still pretty siloed. So we actually try and combine all of the disciplines together to get a more holistic understanding, because the human brain is very, very complex, as well the neurodivergent brain. So we actually implement our subscription soon and grow. We have mind mentors that can actually immediately support neurodivergence, because in some research we figured out that 90% of traditional psychotherapy doesn't help neurodivergence. And mentoring is just an entire different approach, 180 degrees different, meaning that you learn the tools that you can actually implement tomorrow in your daily life. And this is a little bit of the look and feel. Our team, our little chief wellness officer, this is how the mask looks like, and this is Chili, our neurospicy support, in case someone has like pressing issues. He's here to ask. And the future is in our hands, in all of our hands. And AI is not a destiny, but we are as a collective society. So I really hope that we can all jump in to build it together and challenge the status quo. And PS, be kind to AI. Don't be cocky or snooty to AI, be kind, because AI is reflecting as well our society, our behaviors, and how we are. So yeah, I would love you to stay connected with me, follow us on the different social media channels that we have. I would really love to have discussions. If you have any questions, now it's your time. Thank you.